horrible. The future looks bleak. Remember our childhood to get us through the week. We're getting re-enthused. Back to the past and the things we used. We all know that our pasts were great. Escaping the things that today we hate. Getting re-enthused. Getting re-enthused. Getting re-enthused. Getting re-enthused.
Hello and welcome to Infused. So this is just a quick, channel update. It's I've not really done them before, apart from when I'm kind of begging for more subscribers, which isn't really a channel update. But I figure the channel's been going for quite a while now, and the amount of people subscribing has increased. The subscriber numbers are pretty good, to be fair. Obviously, we're still aiming for that magical 1,000. Not so much for advertising, because as anyone who does YouTube actually knows, 1,000 doesn't get you any money. You have to be up in the multi-millions to really be earning any kind of real money from YouTube nowadays. It's more the 1,000 mark is where YouTube is systematically locking everything behind. So things like live streams and stuff like that. So it's an important milestone to get to, because you get access to all of those bits, and YouTube take you at least a little bit more seriously. Not a huge amount. Again, you have to be up at the million mark before they really take you seriously. So yeah, that's always our aim, but we've had pretty good channel growth. I think I'm doing everything right. It's making me happy. I kind of made this afternoon, as I record this video, I made a comment on YouTube about the channel making me happy, at least. It was kind of, I just had a bit of a down moment because something that had happened, and it just kind of got me down. But it's true. I think as long as you're doing this and it's making you happy, then nothing else really matters that much. And it does. I like playing with retro equipment. Obviously, I own a ton of it. If I was just buying that equipment for YouTube, then that would not be a good existence. But I enjoy playing with this stuff. I enjoy playing retro games. My eyes look really wonky in this light. I'm using my new studio lights. They're very good, actually. They say they were £50-something, £56, I think, maybe. Oh, that was stupid. I've just looked right at one, and everything is now purple blocks. But they're pretty good. It's a fairly consistent light. They're not quite, I think they're supposed to be 3200K. They're not quite that really, but they're pretty close. Certainly better than just the light bulb, which I was using, or the very, very cheap cathode lights I was using before then. And those lights were terrible. They used to eat electricity like no one's business. This room, which is hot anyway, as you can probably see, they just made the room so much hotter. It just really heated that room. I couldn't do a long video in this room with those on, just because you just couldn't take it. It was just far too hot, and I don't deal with hot anyway. I'm on the larger side of the human frame, and heat is not my friend. So these are much nicer. They're very cool. I can touch them, and they're just barely warm, which is good. At this point, those other lights would have been roasting hot. But they are incredibly bright as well, and it's a much more consistent light. So yeah, no, they're pretty good. I recommend them anyway. I got them from Amazon or eBay. I don't remember. Anyway, anyone really wants to know, I'm sure I can dig the information out. So anyway, just a video just to say, things are going alright with the channel. We have made some decisions. I say we, and I know that most of the people out there only ever see or hear me. There are other people associated with the channel, but they are not they don't consider themselves to be as photogenic as me, and they don't like speaking in the camera so much. You'd have seen Ralph, which is one of the other people who deals with the channel. If you've watched my Chernobyl video on the Rogue Gunners Productions channel, the guy who's asking all the questions, that's Ralph. And he's fine with me taking video in the back of him, apparently. You probably hear a lot of noise. It is incredibly windy today, and everything is rattling. Even this room, which is pretty good for noise reduction, even before I added those things, even this is feeling it quite a lot, and the windows are rattling a fair bit. I digress. Yeah, and if you, there's been a couple of other videos, like the handheld video we did really early, right back on right back in the early days of the channel. Ralph and his children are in that video, and the one I did on Super Barcode Wars, Ralph's in that video as well. He's the guy I'm playing Super Barcode Wars. Anyway, so he is part of the channel effectively, although he doesn't get involved that much. He tends to be, he gives me ideas for stuff to do, and goads me into buying stuff, and then moans at me for buying stuff. So yeah, it's good. So yes, so there is more than one person involved. My partner Erica as well is hugely makes a huge difference to this channel, and a lot of the ideas she comes up with, and a lot of the feedback she gives me is incredibly important. And I've got so many other people as well that get involved in the channel in different ways. So I kind of just make things up on the spot. It's literally what I'm doing right now. So when I'm doing a video, generally I know a lot of YouTubers, they'll sit there and they'll plan their videos for hours and sometimes days, and they'll go in and they'll record, they'll do multiple takes and stuff. I don't do that. When I'm doing a video, unless it's a particularly big video, like some of the hardware videos I do a bit more research on, I do a bit more work on, but like for Let's Plays, I just walk into this room, and if you see the room tour, you'll see the cupboards and the shelves that have got all the games on. I literally go to those, I take a game off, and I play it. That is literally my Let's Play. So when you see me being really, really bad at a game, and me seeing me not know what I'm doing, that's real. I mean, that's genuinely, I've tried that game out, and there are a lot of games here, especially the Famicom games, that I have never ever played before. I've never seen them. Some of them I've never heard of. So when you see me being really bad at a game, that's genuinely me being bad at a game. That's not make-believe. So yeah, I mean, that's one of the reasons why I can kind of, I guess my channel's a little bit more efficient in that way than a lot of other channels. A lot of other people, they kind of struggle to make their videos because they put so much work into them. By dint of being effectively lazier, I can do my videos quite easily. To the point where I do my videos nowadays, I used to just do them literally on the day. Now I do them a week in advance, and it's because I do have a Patreon account, and anyone that signs up to that will get the videos on a Monday that come out on the Saturday and Sunday following. So I have started doing that now, just in the vague hope that eventually I'll get patrons. This isn't a begging video, like I said. Doesn't mean you have to go and sign up or anything. It's just literally, I'm trying to give you an idea of how I do this stuff. I use a very, very cheap Canon camcorder, a 2K recorder, but I got it end of life, and it's been incredibly reliable, and it's been a fantastic camera all over. I've never felt the need to upgrade. I might invest in another camera just so I can get multiple angles on some stuff, because I did that with a couple of the videos that are on the table, like with the Flight Command, Terahawk's Flight Command game. I had my phone acting as a second camera, and that was really effective, I think. So I might get another camera to do that. This remote mic is a fairly new thing. I shouldn't shake I shouldn't mess around with it while I'm talking. That's really stupid. Anyway, the remote mic's a fairly new thing. It was on sale on Amazon, so I just picked that up, because before I was just using, I've got a Tascom, hold on, I can read the model number right here. A Tascom DR40, which was end of life again on Gear for Music, which, by the way, obviously I'm not sponsored because I'm a tiny pissant little channel, but if you're after musical equipment, they really are great. They genuinely are. When I tried to play the guitar again after not playing it for many years, I went to them and got a guitar, and it was a really good guitar. Unfortunately, arthritis has taken any kind of real flexibility I've got my fingers, so I could only play very, very slow stuff. I also brought a drum kit from them, because I used to play drums, and again, arthritis didn't really allow me to do that properly either, so it was a huge waste. But I also got my my noise recorder from audio recorder, yeah, again, it's proven to be a really reliable thing. And I used to use that because it's got two. I can probably lift it up. This is probably a terrible idea while I'm recording through it, but there you go. There it is. So it's got these two stereo microphones, and you can kind of change them, so you can change the spatial distance if you want more stereo or something, or to record different areas. So I used to use these to record my voice. It was good quality, very good quality, but the problem with that is if you weren't literally facing towards it, the way they're designed is they just pick noise up in that cone. So you weren't facing directly towards it, your voice would get lower. So that's the only reason I went to the remote mic, because it meant that I should probably check this is still recording. Yeah, still recording. I only went to a remote mic because it means that my voice should stay relatively the same. It'd be up and down a little bit as I move my head up and down, but it should be more or less the same no matter where I'm looking at. Very good for hardware videos, because if I'm looking inside the guts of a machine and I'm leaning over it, there was no chance the voice recorder was going to pick up my voice at all well. Other than that, I mean, at the room tour, you'd have seen how my machines are. I didn't explain it that well in the room tour, I guess. So I've got blocks and blocks and blocks of cabinets, IKEA cabinets, which me and Ralph put together. And they've all got their own letters, and in each one of those are 3 shelves, 1 to 3. And so I've got a whole collection of mini video switchers, which do 3 signals, so handily. 1 for each, so each of the bays have got 1 of those to switch between the 3 machines. They all feed into a giant, much more better high quality video switcher, and that allows me to switch between each of the bays, and there's 2 of those, so there's 1 for this side of the room and 1 for that side of the room. Should, again, put my hands in front of the light. How am I like? And they all feed into, well, first of all, they feed into a RetroTink, or if the RetroTink's playing up, which it does occasionally, or if I can't use it, there's an OSSC as well, which I can feed into for, especially for SCART source, it's very good for that. There's also just a bog standard composite to HDMI converter, which does a really good job, it just has more lag. So if I can use a RetroTink, it's fine, then I'll use that, because the lag difference is it's just phenomenal, and it's good for that. But as I point out in my videos, and I got a lot of hate from people who are big fans of RetroTink, RetroTink's got issues. It's got a lot of noise issues, but it's a good device for if you're playing video games and you want as least lag as possible. I don't think anything can touch it for that. And that feeds into my game capture device, which I've forgotten the name of. I'll probably put it, I guess, down there. Try not to block the light. There we go. And that feeds into my screen as well. So it's kind of why it's important to have something like a RetroTink, because all that stuff adds lag in. But it works anyway. My game playing is bad enough that the extra lag doesn't make a difference anyhow. So that's kind of a win, really, when you think about it. And that's how I capture video. And obviously, the camera is what I use to capture any live non-gaming video, I guess you'd say. So any hardware stuff and this kind of stuff where I'm talking to the camera. Yeah, so where do we go from now? Well, obviously we're still aiming to hit that 1,000 mark. We do have a competition at the 1,000 mark. Although we had a competition at 250 and at 500, and both times the winner didn't claim their prize. And I give 2 months period for them to claim their prize, and it just gets recycled in the pool. Didn't expect to do that. Certainly didn't expect to do it twice, but it's been done twice. So I think it's 750. We'll do that again. That's the Bandai Wonder Swan Final Fantasy pack. It's a nice, really nice pack. But 1,000 had always been, there's a Virtual Boy. It's a boxed Virtual Boy. It works. It's in pretty good condition. And it's going to come with actually a couple of games now, because I've got more duplicates since then, so I'll be feeding those in there. So at the very least, it'll be Panic Bomberman and Galactic Pinball. So that's the prize. I'll hit to 1,000, which I don't know how I'm going to do it. YouTube are making it harder and harder for you to really find out who your subscribers are, especially, again, if you're below that magic 1,000 mark. So I may have to do something else to work out the people that are involved in that contest. We'll see. We don't know yet. It's a long way off. As of today, we are at 580, so it's a long way off yet, but that's going. And I'm not just doing the competitions just to try to get more subs, although, obviously it's nice if that results in that. It's, I do like giving back, and I really like having stuff being played with. I've ended up with multiple Virtual Boys, not because really I was getting one for a competition, that's how it ended up. It's just because occasionally you can be lucky and you can get something cheap and you go for it. Like I got a second car Marty. I didn't buy it to sell it. It's just because it had been put in, was really the right category. So it was in the car audio part. But obviously nobody was searching for it and it went for just, nobody bid on it apart from me. So I sold that to Stuart Ashton actually in the end. And so I always, if I find something that I think is a good price, I'll buy it. Again, not necessarily to sell or to give away, but just because if you can get it for a decent price, you can pass it on. Like my Laser Active collection, I got that relatively cheap anyway, and the prices have gone through the roof now. I could have sold all of it for a grand easily. I didn't, because if I'd have sold it for $1,000, it would have gone to somebody who put it into a glass cabinet and said, hey, I've got a Laser Active, and that was that. This whole stuff, I'm not a collector, I'm an enthusiast, and there's a big difference. The big difference being, you'll find, I think I've got one game in my whole collection which is shrink wrapped, and that's just because I've got 2 copies of that game. I get all this stuff because I want to play on it. So I will systematically be going through all of these games that I've got and playing them. All the PC Engine ones, actually, I haven't played all of them because I love the PC Engine so much. And I don't like this idea of people, it's fine, people do think, it's their money, they can do what they want with the stuff, but for me, if you're buying this stuff, it was designed and it was made and people built it to be played with. And if it's not being played with, it's not fulfilling its purpose. And so I sold my whole Laser Active stuff relatively cheap, but it was to somebody I knew would play on it and would make videos about it and would infuse about it as much as, hey, it's the channel name, as much as I would. And so I didn't mind selling it cheaper than the market rate because it was going to still fulfill its purpose. Whereas for me, I didn't have the room for it. It was going to sit in a cupboard, that's as bad as it's sitting, well, worse probably than it's sitting in a glass cabinet. So selling it for below market rate to somebody who was going to play on it and really love it, that was worthwhile. So I forgot where I was going on this. Oh no, I'm there. So it's not just, the competitions aren't just to gain subscribers and what have you. It's also because putting this stuff into the hands of people that are really enthusiastic about retro stuff, it does make me feel good. Of course it's selfish. Everything is selfish really when you think about it. This selfish part of it is that I kind of get a good feeling about knowing that somebody is going to be able to play with this retro stuff, which they might not be able to get themselves, or they may not have known about before, and things like that. So there will be more competitions as well after the 1000. The 1000 it's a milestone, but it doesn't mean that suddenly I'm just going to give up and stop making videos. And I say not try as hard, but as I've pointed out already, I don't try nearly as hard as a lot of YouTubers. Or stop doing competitions, because the drive is still there to do those things even after we get past the 1000 point. Actually, it'd probably be higher after the 1000 point, because the good thing about this is, because when I first started, because I started a long time ago, but I never really pushed the channel that hard. I just did the occasional video here and there. I was doing another channel called Film Flickers at the same time, which was kind of my primary channel at that point. I was doing with some other guy who wanted it to be something big. And that was a time when YouTube were paying everybody advertising fees. So it wasn't a huge amount. We were getting like £3 like every video or something over in a month. So it's not huge. It wasn't a huge amount by any means, but his driving force was he wanted that to kind of, I think, feed off, because he was an actor. He wanted to feed off onto his career and stuff. I was never going to really do that. But I started Reinfused really is because I wanted something that was mine, and computer games have always been much more of a driving focus for me than film. I do love film though, but computer games and computers and consoles and technology full stop have always been a huge driving force for me. So after that kind of Film Flickers broke up really, although it's still alive and I still do intend to go back and make videos for it, or maybe get someone else who wants to make videos to give them the right to upload to it or something, because it'd be a shame for it to die. So when he disappeared, and he did disappear, very odd, I haven't talked to him since, then I decided I'd start pushing Reinfused instead. And I think that the big the big thing with Reinfused is that I do have a love for technology. I do have a love for gaming, retro consoles and computers and just strange stuff. The toys as well, the TV programs. With Reinfused, I get to kind of bring all that into one, and books now as well. I mean, I've done books as well, so that's pretty good. And because I am genuinely infused about that, I mean, that's the reason why I called it Reinfused. I can this is a lot easier for me. The Film Flickers one, I could still do it. I could still kind of just do a review in one go. But it was a lot more forced than I think Reinfused is, because I have a love for this subject. And when you have a love for a subject, you can generally just whittle on about it, as you can see right now, constantly. I did an exhibit, at the Centre for Computing History in Cambridge, and I'm doing another one in September, and I will probably do those whenever they invite me to do them, because I genuinely love all this stuff, and just being able to talk to all these people who also love this stuff, and come to see them, and just to talk about them, and just to kind of nerd out, let's be honest, with all these people that love it, it's just fantastic. And Reinfuse is that, but at a remote level. Now, anyway, getting back to the point I was originally making there. So when Reinfuse really started, and I started to really push it, we didn't have obviously many subscribers, and the ones we did have there was no real community there. So I wasn't getting much feedback on my videos. So there was kind of a shouting into the wind feel to it. I still made them because, again, I just love making videos about stuff, because I love talking about it. But recently, we've just we had an upswell of subscribers, but just a lot of people have started leaving feedback on the videos, good and bad, and it makes it feel more like you're genuinely connecting with people. So even, let's say, bad feedback is as valid as good feedback, well, as long as it's valid feedback. There is a guy who has done a couple of my videos with literally saying, angry video game nerd did it better, which is kind of something I didn't really, unless he's literally saying I shouldn't do video game reviews at all because I'm not as good as AVGN. I don't know, because I think my style is very, very different to AVGN style. There's a lot of wind this side, and it's being annoying. So, I mean, as long as it's constructive feedback, then it's valid, and it still means you feel like you're connecting with someone on the other side. There have been some people who have kind of recently given me a real burst on these things. And I will put in the description some channels of some people that have kind of really made me feel even more. I use the word infused a lot, and it's not just a callback. I guess I just use it a lot. But yeah, they have made me more infused about what I'm doing. I met those through Digitizer as well, and Nostalgia Nerd. I met them through Digitizer and Nostalgia Nerd, and yeah, you just, when you've got that sense of you're actually talking to someone rather than just talking just to the internet as a whole, then you genuinely feel like you're achieving something. And yeah, so yeah, those people, I guess this video is partly to those people, because those people really helped me out. So yeah, okay, we'll put their channels underneath, because they've also got small channels as well, which deserve some love. So I did a thing a couple of months ago now about small YouTubers who just should get more subscribers. Because the thing that annoys me is there's a lot of, it's not all of them, but and I understand the reasons why they do it as well. This isn't a complaint by any means, but the larger YouTubers will generally only push other large YouTubers. Now, of course, the reason for that being that if they pushed anyone else, they get inundated by requests from people to push their channel. They never know what's going to happen on these small channels if somebody suddenly does something really stupid and they've pushed them, and all things like that. So obviously it's a good reason. But also there's a lot of articles that only ever, if they talk about my top 10 gaming channels, they only do ones that are like 1 million subs and above, or 500,000 and above. And there are a lot of really, really, really good channels that have got much less than that, sometimes less than 1,000. And it's because it's getting a lot harder, obviously, to actually get to get subscribers on YouTube, because of the way YouTube's algorithms are working now. They are aiming more at those people with the larger channels. So I think it's important to kind of push those smaller channels to other people. I'm not just obviously, I'd love people to push my channel, but it's not really about that. It's about, there's a lot of people I've met through this who do some genuinely good content, and a lot of them deserve at least as many subscribers as me, and some of them haven't got that many. They haven't been going as long, admittedly, and they are catching up. And I think it's more of a testament to the quality of their videos than anything else, because I think I do good content, but my content, on the whole, is more designed as bite-sized stuff. I don't really do the kind of the big videos very often. I mean, my mini doc on Spectrum I did for the 30 years of play event for UKIE, and some of my hardware videos, that's different. I do those videos occasionally. I will be doing more documentaries on Road Gunners Productions, but they probably won't be game related, because I will keep all the game related stuff on Infused. I am considering doing one on British music culture soon for Road Gunners Productions. So yeah. I think it's important to push the channels around you. There's obviously you'd hope the aura effect of that, where your channel gets a bump as well. But that notwithstanding, there are a lot of voices on YouTube, and YouTube tends to only very concentrate on a very small subset of those, because those are the people that generate all of the advertising money. And regardless of how much advertising money those people get, Google gets a lot more. And so it's more important for them to push the people that are going to generate the largest amount of advertising revenue. So we kind of have to push everyone else, really. I joined an organisation, a group called Press Start, run by TJ, and that, I think, has got the right idea about what they're doing. They're not some kind of exclusive club of channels. They've got channels of all kinds of sizes, and they all do a good job of pushing each other's content and just commenting on other people's videos as well. I'm not nearly as good as I should be about that. I do try, but I fail a lot, and I'm trying hard not to do that, because you've got to give back. That's the important thing. I have whittled on so much. Really, the message is, I'm still enjoying this. That's largely due to you lot. If there's anything you want me to cover, just tell me. One of my most popular videos was one about a children's game that one of my subscribers said, "Oh, would you mind covering this?" It probably won't be that popular. And I covered it, and it's one of my most popular videos. So if there's stuff you want me to cover, I will give it a damn good shot to cover it. And I think I'm a pretty responsive person, so if you want help with stuff, I'm there. If you want to use bits of my video, I'm pretty easy with that. If you want to do a video, a combination video, I've lost the word for what I'm thinking of there. You know what I mean? Then I'm up for that as well. So yeah, just thanks for being there. See you next time.